Welcome to Laurel Fork Sapsuckers Sugar Camp. You're in the western part of Highland County. Here we are at 4,000 feet at our sugar house. We currently have 600 acres on our farm. It is a family farm that's been in our family for 70 years now. Currently we're using 35 acres of our farm for maple syrup production. We have about 1,300 taps. Our goal is 1,500 taps at some point, but right now there's just 4 of us that predominantly work on the farm. It is mid-March right now, March 16th today.
Something like that.
March 16th today, and unfortunately our season has come to a close. The trees have budded out too much. We had 2 days of the upper 60s, so the buds are out now, and it's a season ender for us, but we're going to start cleaning up and preparing for next year.
Awesome. Thanks.
This is a batch boiling method. The pans came from farms here in the county. This pan is about 110 years old, English tin. There's no soldering in it. They just turn the corners, somehow make it where it won't leak out anything. A batch boiling method is you would fill this pan up in the morning, get a fire going. As it starts to boil down, you're constantly adding in more sugar water. End of the day, you stop adding in, it gets this really crazy boil in it. You start testing it for density. Once you get to the density that needs to be for maple syrup, you basically pick the pan up, take it off. Once that happens, it gets filtered, gets put to a milk can. We bring it back up to temperature at the house on propane, just because it's a little bit easier to regulate. Make sure the density is correct. You don't want it so thin that it pours out and you know it looks like water. You don't want it too thick because it will turn into like candy. So you're just looking for that right density. Once you bring it above 190 degrees, you typically have to filter it again. So it will get run through a filter press at that point, which gets about 98% of anything that you see in it out of it, and then it gets bottled. So super simple process. It's just very time consuming, really.
Yeah.
Not really labor intensive at the time because you're just watching water boil, but we do everything by wood. So we go through about 9 cords of wood. We have a tapping addiction. Every year we add a little bit more. We're always experimenting with something. We work with a lot of different universities as well on a lot of different projects. This year we're up to about 1,200 taps. On average, a normal day is going to give you about 1 gallon of sugar water per tap. So we can never keep up with this method where you're only boiling off about 350 gallons. The evaporator, which is right over there, we have a 2.5 by 12 foot long one. It's what we would call continuous flow. You would sweeten the pans over there, about 400, 500 gallons, but there's constant sap coming in the back. On the front, there's a draw off valve, so syrup is heavier, it creates its own gradient. You can draw syrup up there in the front every hour. Typically you like a trickle and kind of keep things moving constantly. So 1.25 gallons over there every hour versus, watching boil all day.
Yeah.
And once the pans are sweetened, you can just stop firing that. The next day, you don't have to empty it. You come back, you start with another fire, and the process kind of does the same thing. So there we can do, I think the most we've done is about 28 gallons in a day, to kind of stay caught up. Where here, it's a typical about 8 gallons. So
Now what can we do?
oh, you can buy it.
Buy it. First time to Sugar Bush up here? What'd you think? Pretty cool?
Awesome. The property's beautiful. It's cool.
What'd you learn?
Well, the process on how many gallons of water per syrup was
Pretty amazing?
you have such a kind of a low yield in a way, but
kind of gives you a appreciation for why it's so expensive.
Exactly.
It does for me anyway.
and then the time of year and then what the trees are doing through that season
Very
is
cool.
really interesting. So
Did you get any taste yet?
I did get a little finger drop up on top of the hill, and it had a little sweet watery taste.
Awesome. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Thanks.